Hey y'all, it's Ms. Eden here with an update on this full moon in Aquarius we're having tomorrow as of the filming of this video. So how's the fam feeling coming into this full moon energy? Are y'all ready to let some shit go? Ready to wrap up some shit to move into some wonderful new beginnings and better futures? Lay it on me. Leave me some comments. Throw it my way. How's the energy coming into this full moon? Fam, we have a big day tomorrow. If you've caught any of my monthly readings and forecasts, spent a little bit of time talking about the astrology of the month. And I told a lot of y'all to mark your calendars for August 19th. That's the day of our full moon in Aquarius. So that's a Monday. So again, as of this video, it's tomorrow. I wanted to get this video out a little bit ahead of the full moon for y'all so you can have this knowledge, this awareness, and also if you need any of this awareness as you put into practice any of your own full moon rituals, practices, just wanted to make sure that was there for you. So yeah, fam, we have a big and powerful full moon in Aquarius, which is like, while full moons represent endings, culminations, wrapping ups, finalities, before we step into new cycles, new beginnings with new moons. This is really also not just about endings, but beginnings into big Aquarian energy for the collective. So we have this full moon in Aquarius, and we currently have Pluto retrograding through the signs of Capricorn and Aquarius. It will be moving direct, Pluto, in early October, I believe, fully into the energy of Aquarius, into the sign of Aquarius. And that's going to be a huge paradigm shift that we are all building towards. A complete change in how and where we as humanity source our power, where we come together as community, how we come together as community, how we seek freedom and bring justice. We're moving away from top-down power structures, from earthy, grounded control systems, which is all about like Pluto and Capricorn. So again, this is just a big time of shifting and change. And it really kicks off. I won't say kick off because we've kind of been in this period for a minute, but this full moon is like, it is kind of a kickoff period. It's like go time between now and the end of the year, when the pace of everything is just going to pick up tenfold, y'all. Like changes are going to be happening, shifts in things are going to be happening. We just need to be real flexible from here on out through the end of the year, which makes sense with Aquarius, an air sign, beggar of freedom and justice, balance as well, but very much a flexible sign. Even though it's a fixed energy, Aquarian maybe flexible is the wrong word. You're right. You're right. Maybe flexible is the wrong word. Anyway, I digress. So this energy overall of this new full moon, that we're having tomorrow is asking us, how do we come back into balance with ourselves? And where are we out of balance? When we're asking ourselves these questions, if we've been having any discomfort, any heaviness, any negative feelings pop up for us in this first couple of weeks of August with our retrograde Mercury, retrograde Saturn and Neptune, retrograde Pluto and Chiron, we have a lot of energies begging us to go inward. That's the theme, right? And then this full moon on top of that, like you got to clear out whatever the inner mess is that's still causing too many blocks in here, in our energy, in our mind, in our emotions, in our soul, and then it can exhibit itself in our physical body as ailments, sickness, pain, if we let it go too long without dealing with it. So again, where are we out of balance? Where are we feeling discomfort? A lot of that might be coming up at this time. I know I'm feeling it. And it is important to know, y'all, that it's coming up for a reason. These discomforts, these things, probably a lot of stuff from the past for a lot of us with these retrogrades. That's what I was trying to connect to. Is retrogrades, a lot of stuff from the past, possibly a lot of things we've held on to for a long time, possibly all of our lives. Heaviness, traumas, blocks. When we feel this discomfort, when we're feeling heavy, when we're feeling like we could go into like that downward spiral again of darkness, depression, anxiety, negativity, I would recommend to my family here to try something new, which is meet that discomfort with curiosity. Instead of letting it bring you down that cycle, that spiral, ask it, hey, what have you come up to show me? What is it that I need to learn from this that's coming up within right now? Because there is definitely guaranteed something that must be learned in order for that to be released. And that has to be released with this full moon in Aquarius. The full moon begs that, demands that release so that we can make space for the new things that are coming in that more align with our energies, our changing and shifting energies that are moving towards love, humanity, community, compassion, light, all of that. We're moving out of fear. We're moving out of control, of feeling small, feeling limited. Again, Aquarius, freedom energy. We're also, and justice, like understanding and really seeing what's going on around us. This is all, again, about this cycle with the full moon going inward, not outward. It's reviewing. It's time to review, y'all, that which is out of balance. What feels heavy? What feels icky? What feels uncomfortable to us? Meet it with curiosity and ask it questions. Why have you come up? What do I have to learn? And then let the universe show you, because it will. It doesn't want to block you with that. If you're willing to learn, it will frickin' show you. It will let you know. All right? You just have to be open and receptive to that. So getting back to the full moon, I'm trying to go over my notes and keep everything in order. Going back to this full moon in Aquarius, we have a lot of interesting aspects on this full moon day and with this full moon. So first is the moon is also squaring tomorrow. It is squaring Uranus, which is currently in Taurus. Uranus is a bringer of sudden and great change. It can make us feel a bit agitated. Again, if we're working through and bringing up a lot of things that have been stuck and buried on the inside, no surprise there if we're feeling a little delicate, a little agitated. Maybe delicate's the wrong word, but like agitated, right? Like tender, because we're bringing all this up. When Uranus is in Taurus, it's, again, where we need to ground ourselves, find an anchor for ourselves with all these changes coming about, with all this electricity, this lightning, right? Also, this full moon in Aquarius with the squaring of Uranus and Taurus can talk to us about, I know we've had a lot of sudden changes with the earth activity. We've been seeing earthquakes, more volcanic activity. I believe there was one in Japan just a few days ago, like a 7.1, at the time of this filming at least. We've been seeing a lot of literal earth shaking changes happening. So there's a possibility, again, that we might see more of this coming up with Uranus squaring Taurus. This Uranus and Taurus squaring the full moon in Aquarius. And squares are always very harsh aspects, y'all. That's really all you need to take away is like the planets, their aspects do not jive together. They're really full of friction and work against one another. We also have the first square in our Jupiter and Saturn conjunction. Now, I want y'all to think back to December. Where were we? December 2020. I bet a lot of us know where we were December 2020. Well, December 2020, we had our first conjunction. You might remember it called the Great Conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. This is now tomorrow of the full moon, the moment where we have our first square between Jupiter and Saturn from that conjunction. Jupiter is currently in Gemini, so the expander planet is in the planet of communication, of ideas, of creativity, of thoughts. Saturn is currently in the planet sign of Pisces, is in the sign of Pisces, which is all about your intuition, your emotion, your deep connection to spirit and self. Going deeply inward. So this is called, when we have that first conjunction and we come to this first square of those two planets, we call this the crisis in action period. So how are we going to act with this energy? How are we going to expand our minds about how we can ground ourselves down? Saturn, discipline, structures, right? Taskmaster. How can we find good, healthy structures for our spirituality? Okay, so think about in December 2020, a lot of us were stuck inside. A lot of us were having a lot more freedom, albeit we were stuck inside, but we had the mental space to take on new pursuits, try new things we'd never done before, because hell, we were all bored as fuck, so a lot of us started to try new crafts, new activities, new things that we could do in our homes. So again, just like it was this mind expanding time despite we were physically confined. So think about that as we come into tomorrow's energy with this first square. Again, squares are harsh aspects between Jupiter and Saturn, and we might have some friction there, but this will be the first kind of big aspect since that big great conjunction of December 2020. So here we are again, right? Let me make sure I'm staying focused and getting all my notes covered. The other aspects we have going on tomorrow, because there's a whole list, that's not even it. This square between Uranus and Taurus, and this Jupiter and Saturn square that we're having tomorrow, oh, that's not even it. We also have, the moon in Aquarius that is trining Mars. Mars right now is in the sign of Gemini. So that might bring a lot of energy, a little bit of fire to our intuitive sides, our spiritual knowing, our gut might be a little bit more on point tomorrow. So if you have some interesting thoughts and things that come through your head, trines are very positive aspects between planets. So we got the moon and Mars, that energy of Mars, moon, intuition, femininity, right? Emotion. But think about what insights you have come to you. Those are going to be important tomorrow and during this full moon energy for the days on either side of this full moon. We also have Venus squaring Jupiter tomorrow. So that's going to be a little bit of some friction. Some of our love relationships might have some of the cracks that exist in some of our love relationships might be expanded upon. Jupiter, the expander planet, full moon shining a light on that. Some endings, some of us might have some endings and culminations, finalities come up for us with things pertaining to love, pleasures in the physical world, right? We also have a conjunction between Venus and Saturn tomorrow as well. Like, good Lord, the whole list keeps going on. But that Venus and Saturn conjunctions can kind of heighten energies as opposed to being frictiony, more friction, like squares. So conjunctions, Venus and Saturn aren't super friendly towards one another. They're not really, they don't blend well. So that conjunction also might bring about some stubbornness, a little bit of tension, right, for us as we're being asked by this full moon to deal with what is coming up on the inside in order to let it go and create space for the new, right? Having Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, again, is also begging us to go inward and connect very deeply with our spiritual side and find good, solid structures for our spiritual selves, right? This is all about right now, y'all, ending of past cycles of trauma and bondage that have kept you limited, that keep us as humanity divided and thus conquered. We are realizing that division is not in our best interest, that we must come together as one. A lot of us are seeing the truth in these things that the light is being shown on that's happening on the world stage. So while it does feel like, yes, things are getting worse, it's just that we have to see these things with our own eyes to know that they're happening, to know how we want to progress. Does it down that path, continuing down that path of horror and negativity and low vibrational energies? Absolutely not. A lot of us are saying no. And this full moon is a big shift and allowance and bringer of that energy for us to step onto the new path of love, of light, of compassion, of freedom and justice, of community, of we, not I. We are leaving I and ego times behind. Wow. Yeah. This is about connecting with others, connecting through love, not hate, helping others, not hurting others. It's a huge awakening period for humanity that we've been undergoing and that we continue to undergo. And especially again, as we have Aquarius shift into Pluto fully in October. The pace is only going to pick up from here, y'all, from here to the end of 2024. So be ready for a lot of fast changes, quick and sudden shifts. Be flexible, but find those things in your life that can ground you and provide an anchor so that you don't get swept up in the tornado of constant change. It is changing for the better, but it may not feel like it is at first. Because again, we have to set our intentions, and that is what we are doing. We are leading with a new intention and energy. We are choosing to meet scenes of horror with love instead. And that's not, I don't mean we are loving those scenes. I mean that we are sending out, instead of seeing that and being filled with hate and anger and frustration for whoever's perpetrating that pain on others, we are instead coming from a place of love and sending love to those who are being negatively afflicted. And that's what I mean about this shift. Glass half full, not glass half empty, y'all. We're meeting it with love, and when we meet it more and more with love, that is what we are going to see become more and more the norm. And let me tell you, these old power structures and paradigms won't be happy with that, because that takes away their power. Their power is in division, is in fear, is in keeping us against one another instead of coming together, because there is such strength in that. And we're finding the more we come together as humanity that many of us have the same goals, the same desires. And it's basic. We want to live a happy life, a peaceful life, have our basic necessities covered, right? Have our families taken care of, be able to take care of our families and our loved ones, have time for pleasure and creative activities as well as work. Yeah, it's simple. We don't need too much. And a lot of us are simplifying. So I leave you with this, beautiful loves, a little bit of on the prediction side, because I've been kind of questioning whether or not to include and infuse some prediction type stuff on here. But there's been a lot of times in the past that I've written down things leading up to big transits or shifts or full moons or whatever. And gosh darn it, that stuff tends to kind of happen sometimes to some degree. So here's the things to keep a lookout for. I'm not going to say predictions. Here's the thing to keep lookouts for during this big full moon energy, with Uranus squaring the full moon and all these other squares and conjunctions and trines and things happening tomorrow simultaneously with the full moon in Aquarius. We might see more activity with volcanic and earthquake kind of related things with that Uranus and Taurus business coming up. Again, we might see big storms, electrical outages might be something that comes up. It's summertime, hurricane season here in the U.S. Northern hemisphere's got, warmer weather. So I know we got a lot of storms a-brewing, both physically and metaphorically. So we could certainly see a lot of strong wind, a lot of lightning, Uranus energy, a lot of electrical outages. Taurus, again, is what I'm connecting to that volcanic activity, which we're starting to see a little bit more in places like Japan. There's Italy, I believe, has been having a little bit of volcanic activity with Mount Etna. I'm not sure. And then California and the West Coast has been kind of thinking about, and, their volcanic activity and preparing for anything there. So We might see things relating to earthquakes, volcanic activity with this Uranus and Taurus period, as Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. But with this full moon in Aquarius, we really might have this confirmation. Let me back it up, because here's what I really want to end with. And yes, I'm based in the United States, so I'll have to kind of take it from my lens here. I try not to take a look at the news too much and stay out of it. There's a certain degree of where, like, I have to maybe tap in a little bit, but I try not to so much, because again, it does take your peace, doesn't it, tapping into the news too much. And so with this Aquarius full moon, what I've been noticing leading up to this, and I'll lead in with the Olympics being a wonderful example, is this coming together of community. There was this vibrant kinetic energy that I could feel in the air, even not being in Paris, being an entire ocean away here in America, in the United States, excuse me, of these Aquarian traits of coming together, community, freedom, expression, justice. All of that was coming up, I saw in the Olympics. And then here with our political sphere, which is always very heated in the United States, this shift of one of our presidential candidates in the Democratic Party from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris, and then her now Vice President, Tim Walz, I believe. I can just feel the lightness that has come over the country from that shift taking place. And so again, it was sudden. It happened really quickly, even though we all kind of were, like, oh, it's probably going to happen. Will it happen? It's probably going to happen. But that was, again, just leaning into that Aquarian energy, these big sudden changes, Uranus kind of energy that's going to come at us really through the end of the year, right? So those are a few of like my things to look out for, is just like, look out for that community energy, that energy of unity that we're going to have popping up and opportunities for that much more. I believe even in Bangladesh, the what's been going on there is like the students are kind of right now at a place where the masses, the students, are in control as opposed to one solitary figure. So I know that there's a lot of tumultuous energies and war going on right now, but again, these negative things are coming up to show us truths that maybe we don't want to keep continuing down these paths, especially if it leads to the destruction of those we love, the destruction of the planet that we love and its resources, right? We're having a big awakening, y'all. So definitely let me know, how is this energy of the full moon sitting with you? I hope that your routines, your full moon ceremonies or traditions are really, really wonderful. Definitely throw me some comments how this energy is resonating with you. Subscribe if y'all haven't. If you've made it through this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out, y'all. And share this with anyone that you feel might really enjoy a little full moon message in Aquarius. All right, it's about community after all, y'all. And speaking of community, let's keep growing it. If y'all want to follow me on Instagram, you can find the link for that in my bio. Sending you so much love in this full moon. Bye, y'all.